deep, calm, cinematic. History is not written by those who never fall. It is written by those who fall and rise when the world believes they are finished. Two men, two continents, two moments where everything was lost. One became the father of England. The other founded the greatest empire Africa had ever known. This is the story of the greatest comebacks in history, fog-covered seas. Hundreds of Viking longships burning villages. Map of Britain turning red April 871. Britain is no longer a land of peace. For decades, Vikings had raided the coast. But now, they had come to conquer. 6 years earlier, hundreds of ships landed in East Anglia. Not just warriors, but wives, children, blacksmiths. This was not a raid. This was an invasion. Within 2 years, the great English kingdoms of Northumbria and East Anglia had fallen. Only one remained. Wessex, Saxon shield wall Alfred, and King Ethelred in battle fallen soldiers. King Ethelred and his younger brother Alfred stood against the storm. 9 brutal battles in a single year. Victory and defeat swung back and forth like a championship fight. But then, more Vikings arrived. At the Battle of Merton, the king was wounded. Soon after, he died. Alfred was 22 years old. He never wanted to be king. He dreamed of books, learning, and quiet halls. But fate had other plans. Funeral flames, Viking attack during mourning. Alfred fleeing through fire and smoke. Before his brother was even buried, the Vikings struck again. Alfred's army shattered. With no choice left, he paid the invaders to leave. They took the gold and returned stronger. By 875, Wessex was the last free English kingdom, and the Vikings were coming to finish it. Siege of Wareham Oath, Ring Vikings retreating. Alfred rebuilt his army and trapped the Vikings at Wareham, but the enemy would not break. So Alfred chose diplomacy. Oaths were sworn, hostages promised. But Viking warlord Guthrum did not fear gods or kings. The moment Alfred left, the hostages were murdered. Warm candlelight feast hall, Snow-Wura Treaty. January 878. Believing the war was over, Alfred celebrated Christmas at Chippenham. Then, the doors burst open. Visuals, Vikings storming the hall, chaos, fire, screaming unarmed, unprepared, massacred. Alfred escaped into the marshes while his people died behind him. The king was broken, mud-covered Alfred's small hut firelight. Burning bread, quiet, emotional, exhausted and defeated, Alfred was taken in by a peasant woman. She did not know she was feeding a king. Lost in his thoughts, he let her cakes burn. She scolded him harshly. And in that moment, Alfred hit rock bottom. Messengers riding men, taking swords. Dawn breaking. But Alfred did not surrender. He sent a message across the land, not to nobles, not to kings, to Englishmen. At Egbert's Stone they would fight. As one people, Alfred riding over hill. Thousands of soldiers cheering when Alfred reached the hilltop. 4,000 men awaited him. Against all odds, they came. At Edington, steel met steel. Hours of brutal combat, until the Viking army broke. Siege of Chippenham, starving Vikings, Guthrum, cheery Guthrum surrendered, expecting death. Instead, Alfred offered mercy, conversion, exile, peace, and astonishingly, Guthrum kept his word. Navy ships, schools, and books. London reclaimed. Alfred rebuilt England. A standing army, the first English navy, education, law. In 886, he reclaimed London, not as King of Wessex, but as King of the Anglo-Saxons. He is remembered by one name alone: African Savannah Drums, Ancient Kingdom, 13th century West Africa. In a small kingdom called Kangaba, a prophecy was spoken. A crippled child, destined to become a lion. Crawling child mocking nobles. Crying mother Sunjata was born unable to walk. Mocked, rejected, cast aside. Even his father's court lost faith. Blacksmith iron staff bending Sunjata standen moth. At 7 years old, Sunjata stood. The prophecy awakened, but envy followed. Night escape. Long journeys, battles, fleeing assassination. Sunjata wandered for 7 years. He became a warrior, a leader, messengers kneeling. Armies uniting, a tyrant ruled his homeland, and only the lion could stop him. Sunjata united kingdoms. At Kirina, the tyrant fell. Crowning ceremony. Gold and trade routes, Sunjata was crowned Mansa. The Mali Empire was born, an empire so rich. His descendant Mansa Musa became the wealthiest man in history. Different lands, different cultures, same truth. Those who rise from nothing change the world forever.